Hey, are you guys looking for the easiest to install and the best sounding audio solution for your 14 to 18 RZR? Well, stay tuned because we're about to show it to you. Hi guys, and welcome back. Today we're going to walk you through installing our THUNDER2 on this Polaris XP1000 RZR behind me. You can see there's not a lot to this. It should be real simple. We only have front speakers, head unit, kit, front speaker brackets, and a plug-and-play harness. We're still going to have to disassemble a few things in the vehicle, so let's get started. The first thing we're going to want to do is remove the hood. Start by turning the two clasps and sliding the hood toward you. Next, remove the two T40 Torx bolts on either side of the hood opening. Then lift up on the dash panel and slide it toward the passenger compartment. Once loose, disconnect your switches and gauge cluster and remove it from the vehicle. Now we'll remove the T40 Torx holding the dash pocket in place, and then remove the pocket from the vehicle. All right, now that we've got the pocket out of the vehicle, I want to take a few seconds and point a couple of things out. Now your car should have come with this pocket in it, which is the same as this one. What we're going to want to do is remove this plastic door or storage compartment door, and it's going to be replaced by the mounting kit. Now, if for some odd reason you get a vehicle without this style of pocket, we're going to include the part number, and you can pick one up at Amazon or your local dealer. All right, now we're ready to prep our pocket for installation. First things we're going to want to do is remove these two little pins here. And that'll obviously come off. And we like to drill a 1 3/4 inch hole in the back of this to allow access for all our wires. So we're going to go ahead and do that. All right, now it's time to mount our radio into our dash kit. Align the radio with the 4 threaded studs in the back of the kit. Snap the radio into place until it sits flush on the front. Next, secure with the supplied 5.5mm nuts. Once the radio is secured, we're going to go ahead and slide on our speed clips, which are going to lock the kit into the dash. All right, so now we're ready to install our kick pods, but I want to go through a couple cool things about these since these are all new for this year. One, it's a completely sealed pod. You're going to get this with the speaker already in it, so there's nothing you have to take apart, so there's no chance of it not sealing. Two, plug and play connector makes all your connections really easy. There's been foam installed to stop any vibrations that might happen from mounting. Two, our new bracket using pod lock technology will lock this pod into place with only one screw. What we're going to do is get this installed in the vehicle and we'll show you how it works. To start the installation, we're going to remove two T40 Torx bolts and one 13mm body bolt. Now that we've got the bolts removed, we're going to align our bracket with the holes that the bolts came out of and return all the hardware we just took out, locking the bracket into the vehicle. On the bottom of the speaker pod, you'll notice two slots that line up with the slots on the bracket. You're going to set that in place and lean it back towards the vehicle, putting your top bolt in to secure it. Once your pods are secure, go ahead and run your wires up to the center of the vehicle. Now that we've got one pod installed, go ahead and repeat the process on the other side. All right, now that we're at the bench, we're getting ready to install our radio. Let's take a moment to talk about the radio harness. This is going to be included in your Thunder Kit 2. What this is your speaker outputs from the radio, your power and ground, and your RGB connector. The RGB connector and its controller and its remote comes with this kit. Inside the kick panel kit, you will find this ring terminal set, along with some hardware and some solder and shrink tubes. What we're going to do is we're going to connect this to the RGB controller, which then connects to our radio harness. That way we can marry these two and all the power and grounds can be run at the same time. So let's go ahead and do that. Attach this pigtail to our RGB controller module using these solder and seal connectors. All right, now that we've got our ring terminals connected to our RGB controller, we can go ahead and plug these two together and get this installed in the vehicle. Now it's time to install our radio harness. The first thing we want to do is feed our two sets of ring terminals out through the grommet into the hood area. Now that we've got that done, we want to go ahead and make our speaker connections. Both speaker connections are both labeled left and right. There'll be a third connector we're not going to use in this instance, as well as two blue wires we're also not going to use. Now we can go ahead and install our radio pocket. We're going to do this by feeding the harness through the 1 3/4 inch hole we cut earlier. We're then going to seat the pocket into the dashboard. After we've got the pocket seated, we're going to go ahead and return the T40 bolt through the bracket and into the pocket and get it all tightened down. Okay, now we can go ahead and install the radio. We're going to plug the radio harness into the pigtail on the back of the radio. We're then going to gather all our wires, making sure none get caught, and seat the kit into the pocket. The next step would be to install the hardware included with the kit on the bottom left and right side. Tighten up your hardware and your kit is installed. When hooking up your wires under the hood, on this particular model and many of the older Polaris RZRs, they have no power and ground accessory ran from the battery. That was an option that you had to buy when you purchased the vehicle. Now it won't stop you from doing this install. We're simply going to use the outer brass bolt, either of them, in this case the left one, and attach our ground to that and our other two wires, the red and the yellow, to the accessory. Okay, now that we've got all our connections made, we got to go ahead and plug our switches, including the ignition switch, back into the upper dash panel so that we can fire this thing up, run it through its paces, and make sure everything is functioning properly. Then we can go ahead and reassemble the vehicle. All right guys, as you've learned, these kits are super easy to install. With a nice easy plug and play and everything has its place. But if you should have any questions or concerns, hit us up on our 1-800 line or through our social media feeds. But for now, let's get this thing out onto the trails and enjoy it.